Much for joining me this afternoon. I am the last one in this hall, you are glad to know, so you'll be able to scoot off and get some beers hopefully very shortly. Just a quick note, I am probably old enough to be most of your mothers, and so I've got good old-fashioned prompt cards because in case I step into brain fog moments. I am joined here today also by some of the Luminous team that you'll be able to speak to later if you want to. We've got our CEO and founder, Kirsty Jarvis, Head of Brand and Partnerships, Amanda Bunn, and our Senior PR Consultant over there, Fiona Chow. So they'll be on hand later as well. It is Fiona's birthday. I won't make you sing happy birthday, but if you happen to see her and you happen to offer her a drink, I know she's not going to say no. So Luminous PR. There we go. Luminous PR, who are we? What do we do in one sentence? We are a tech PR agency specializing in startup and scale-up tech businesses, and we help you grow. Sounds really simple, right? But we know that behind the scenes, your journey to growth is anything but simple. I'm kind of guessing, I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark here, that some of you sitting here are going to be on your own investment journey right now. So that could be your first timers. You could be fifth timers with your seventh business. So can we just get an arms in the air? If you are on your investment journey at the moment, and okay, lovely. I'm really rubbish at numbers. I'm going to say 50%, but I'm PR, so it's probably 40%, you know. And out of you who raised your hands, who is your first time, it's your first rodeo. Are you excited? Getting any sleep? No. Okay, so buckle up because it is going to be a big old journey ahead. And it's the same for whether you are in your first time or in your fifth time. The pains and the process are all very, very much the same. And we know that the investment scene this year has probably not been very pretty for you. In fact, the investment scene can go and do one, quite frankly. It has been very painful for you all. But change is coming. That's what I'm here to tell you today, because there is a shift starting to happen. And how do we know this? We have a retail tech client who came to us back end of last year, and he was on track for his investment round. He was textbook client. He had everything on point that you could dream of. In April, he called up and said, Alexandra, I cannot close. I don't know what's going on. I can't close. My business model is sustainable. My value prop is on point. My team are experts. My story is all over the place where it should be, but I can't close. External factors this year have hit hard. And in July this year, 3 months later, he called to say, I've had to shed 75% of my team. That hurts. But fast forward 3 more months, and we, in October, are about to announce a major global partnership for him. His tech is getting deployed by a UK high street brand in UK, in Spain, in Dubai. So change is coming, okay? So I want to feel that positivity. And actually, you know, that's why I'm excited to be here. Very excited. Well, I was, until somebody else told me that apparently somebody was on the stage at the same time as me in another hall. Apparently his name's Stuart, Simon, I don't know. We have a lineup that is outstanding, that is here to support you guys. Reid Hoffman, Nina Schick, Gillian Tett, Stephen Fry. So my excitement turned into a little bit of trepidation, which went into a full-on, and I don't know how you're going to sign this, but it went into a full-on what the fuckety fuck moment for me. But why should you care? Because I had to go and PR myself. I had to ask myself, what is my story? What makes me different to him and to all the other speakers? What can I bring to you that you need to hear, that is fresh, that is new, that can help you grow? So I got back to being excited. And why? Because those are the questions as a PR that we are going to be asking you as startups on your journey. What's your story? What have you got to say that's different? How are you making a difference and an impact in this world? So we are excited at CogX. We are here. Now, see, this is why I did the prompts, because you know what? My daughter did these. I'm going to let you into a secret. And she's put them in the wrong order, which is always very nice. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, as tech PRs, we know that the world you're in is struggling, but you bring limitless possibilities to our world. And I know that the world puts limits on what you are able to achieve, and in sense of achieving your ambition and realizing your dreams, turning into a tangible, scalable business. So where do we go from there? How can we, I'm going to just move these around. Would you bear with me and let me juggle? Because that is something I have to do. So next 10 years, that's getting back to it. We've got to get it right for you. We've got to get better at supporting you. You have to get better at telling us why. Why should you be the ones to back? But what we're going to do, because getting the investors to say yes is a dream, right? But so often, and especially first timers, you are going to hear some no's. Here's a reminder of why they say no, but also how PR is going to help you to turn that into a yes. So, before you do anything, your business model. If it is not sustainable and there is no clear path to profitability, rip it up, guys. You're not ready to go out there yet. You have to get that right before we do anything else. So market research, though, investors need to know that you are needed. You would not believe how many startups we see come through those doors and go, I don't know my customer pain points. I don't know what market I'm supposed to be doing. And luckily for you, PR has a really powerful tactic. If you do not have your data and your market research, PR can create surveys that can generate this. And what that does is it will show where the market need is, where your customers' pains that they're going through. It ties into then how you can solve a problem in that industry and how you can do it better. And the beauty of that is they work really hard. You can talk to the team later, but for a small investment, I'm talking 300 quid a question here. It's small money, right? Massive ROI, because this can go into your investor decks to prove to them, I know my market. It can go into your sales decks to show the customers and prospect clients, I know the market. It goes into your socials, your blog contents, your white papers, and most importantly, in your PR, because we can actually put that out there and create stories and impactful coverage across a wide variety of types of publications. External factors. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Investors are cautious during times of instability, right? And that does not give you an excuse to just sit back and go, do you know what? Hey, I'll wait till it's all stable. This is the moment. This is the time to start getting yourselves absolutely ready. Test your tech. Please test your tech, because we as PRs are going to send your tech and demos, if we can, to journalists, top-tier journos. If it is not working and there are glitches and gremlins galore, that is not going to send a very good message to the media or your investors. Build your case studies. This is a really great time, and your PR teams should be doing this. So what better validation is there than somebody else saying that you are helping them make a genuine, real impact? And get your profile built. Get your story right across your channels. This is the moment to be getting yourself ready, not waiting for external factors to suddenly just turn right for you. It's me, isn't it? Well, yes, actually it could be, because investors will back you depending on how much of a leader they can believe in. Are you someone, because there's going to be bumps on your roadmap, can you navigate that? Are you strong enough to push through? Have you developed a culture that is going to build a great team and push your product and let it see a lifespan? Is it going to do great things? Or are you a leader who is going to crumble at the first fall? You've got to really think about that, because investors, if they lack confidence in you, it's a no. We can help you build that up too. Are you in front of the right people? Trust me, we've had health and wellness startups trying to pitch investors who are only out for Web3 developers. Why would you do that? It's nonsense. But your PR teams can actually help you identify who you should be speaking to, and also where are they hanging out? What are they reading? Let's say our story directly and get in front of them. So your PR teams can help on that. And most importantly, do you have a compelling story? A lot of reasons for investors to say no is because your story, your proposition lacks clarity. It lacks confidence. It lacks authenticity. So this is the bit in your early days that you have really got to get right. PR will build your profile. PR will build a bench of profiles from your team of experts. And to make sure that your story has a human element that says where it's making impact, not just throwing numbers at people too. So these are all kind of negative Nancy things, and I'm telling you now, PR can help you navigate those and turn them into yeses. But let's just focus a little bit on the storytelling itself. Because storytelling is powerful. We, as humans, are hardwired to engage with stories. We're not made to necessarily remember data and statistics. Some of you may be, but most of us, it's about the story. Because what do stories do? They can create engagement. We are absolutely battered by information every day. We've been battered by information here today. Telling a compelling story can get your investor to engage on an emotional level. And if they are emotionally invested in you, they will follow you through your triumphs, through your bumps, and through all your learnings. I call them learnings, not failings, because that's exactly what they are. Stories will make you memorable. Put yourself in an investor's shoes right now. How many pitches do you see each and every week? It's countless. It's the same for journalists that we speak to on a PR side as well. Some of them are meh. Some of them are a bit samey. One or two in a very blue moon might stand out. So how are you going to stand out from the rest of the crowd? And if you've started building your story and you've started getting that out across the right places in media, then that story suddenly sticks and it becomes memorable. And when they see you, they're going to know you from everybody else. And when a story is authentic, ultimately it builds trust. And this is the key to your investor relations as well. And from a PR perspective, this is not just about telling the world about all the shiny good stuff. This is about warts and all, balls out challenges that you are really facing. And importantly, how you overcome them. Because that is how you can prove what a leader you are going to be, and they can really believe in you. But in your stories, don't you love your data? Charts and graphs and blue lines and red lines and oh my God, technical jargon. You guys are masters at making shit up. Right, a couple of examples. Screenagers. Anybody know that one? What did we have? Cyberchondriacs. That's a real word, apparently. And I have to ask, anybody know here, hands up, what is a gigaflop? Does anybody know what a gigaflop is? You do? I might have to ask you for your definition here. I'm not going to, but I'm going to read it. Am I correct in saying it is a unit of computing speed that equals 1 billion floating point operations per second? Okay. Who gives a shit? Really? It's in the Oxford English Dictionary. Your investor is not going to get behind you because of your gigaflops, right? Trust me. I mean, we see you with your specifications and we see how your eyes sparkle. And I'm not saying data is not important. It is. So please, this is not a drill. Do not take data out of your investor pitch decks, whatever you do. What I'm saying is wrap your data in a story and give it some human elements, some human dimension to it. Bring it to life. Use those use cases. Who can tell them that I use this platform and it's made me 65% more productive. I've used this platform and it's saved me 30% on my operational costs. Bring the data to life. Don't just show them the charts and the graphs, which we know are very exciting. And you might not have your data yet. We've said that PR can fix it for you, but honestly, at this point in your journey, you don't always need that. Because you know what? And I did not invent this saying, but it's very, very true. Investors are out to back the jockey, not the horse. Really think about this. Because do you know what? Not everybody has a horse. Some have a picture of a horse. Some might have a saddle and a whip, and that's okay because as PRs, we know what to do with that. We can build great stories out of nothing but a concept and a great team. I will just tell you one client, I'm going to use the B word now. I've used a few others, but B, we had a blockchain client, right? For our sins, we had a blockchain client. Ridiculously smart people. We're talking like bow tie wearing, ridiculously smart. And if anybody's got a bow tie, I bow down, you're very smart. However, they came to us all excited and they said, we've got this idea for a distributed ledger. And I know you want me to finish that sentence. We wanted them to finish that sentence because that is all they had at the table, nothing else. They wanted to go out for funding. So we thought, okay, what can we do? Sleeves went up, heads to around the table. And we found out they'd had a little bit of funding. And a profile who had backed them in that funding round was a really, really big name in a completely different industry. Boom. 2 weeks later, they were on Sky News with Ian King, telling the world about how their idea and their technology was going to shape the way that we did manufacturing, healthcare, logistics. No horse in sight, but impactful coverage that got them noticed, it opened doors, and it did lead to more funding. So, how are we going to get you in shape with your stories? We're going to look here. I'm going to skip this side. I feel like I'm ignoring you over here, so I'll come over this way. Can you remember at school? Teachers told you in English, every story has 3 components. It's got a beginning, a middle, and end. Well, it doesn't stop when you start adulting, because it's still very true here. Your origin is your beginning. This is about where you came from, why you are doing what you are doing. They don't have to be exotic. You don't have to have been an orphan and brought up by Nepalese mountain goats, okay? It can be very everyday, normal kind of people things. I will never forget a guy that came to us. He was not a founder himself. He was part of a founding team in financial services. And we were asking about his origins and ideas. And he said, you know what? He said, one night I had a fight in a hotel. I thought, oh, this is going to go well. With a hanger in a wardrobe. So, you know, in a hotel, in the wardrobes, they've got, you can't take the hangers out, right? They're on these hooky things and you have to kind of climb inside, put your jacket in there, get scratched on your face and back out. Well, he had this battle. And he was like, why? Why would they do this? And it came to him that this was all around. He lacked customer trust. They thought they were going to steal them or etch our names in the walls. I don't know. But someone somewhere did something because the whole hotel industry got behind the whole hooky hanger thing. And that idea of no trust in the customer really hurt him. So he went back to his founding team and told them the story. They went and built the proposition built purely on customer trust, and they are now in the top 3 leading challenger banks here in the UK, all from a hanger. The middle bit, your big picture, that's just the bit you flesh out. This is where you can talk about your customer pain points. It's about the problems that you're trying to solve. It's about you riding in on your white horses as champions of that industry. Your data is definitely going to shine in this moment. And then the climactic ending of being on that mountain and looking at your vision of how you are going to succeed and make a difference. This is the fun bit, right? Because investors are going to get what we call investor FOMO at this point. They will tell you it doesn't exist. They will tell you they don't believe in it, but it does. Because if you can prove you are the next best thing and get them on your journey, they are not going to miss out at all. So here we have just a little reminder for you. So if you're wanting to go away from today to build your stories, this is what I would urge you to absolutely go away and answer. Think about your light bulb moment. And on that note, if anybody has a light bulb moment that they would like to share with us and that they think needs a bit of a polish, a little bit of shine, come and talk to the Luminous team after, and we will try and do some guiding with you as well. Think about the challenges you faced. Don't sweep them under the carpet. You've got to wear them like an absolute badge of honor here, because this is what makes you you. This is what sets you apart from the rest. So be honest with your communications on challenges. Customers want my solution. I can prove it because. How many of you right now can prove that your customers want your solution? Hands up if you know absolutely you can prove it. Ooh, okay. I'm impressed. There's hardly anyone is putting their hands up here. So there is work to be done. And then my solution will make a difference too. Who do you want to make an impact on? Who is going to feel this change and this at the end of the day? Now you might be thinking, well, thanks, Alexandra. You've just told us how to shape our story. We don't need PR. Well, you're right. I've told you how to shape your story, but the PR journey is just beginning right now. What do we do for you with PR in terms of the media relevance? Because this is the important bit. PR is not always about getting your name in lights on that front page, in the Guardian, in the Times, in Forbes, right? It's a great hero moment for you and it's a great bragging right. But is it where investors are really going to find you and take you seriously? Possibly not. So I would say, anybody actually working with PR at the moment? A couple of you, right? I would urge you to go back to your PR team and say, hey, where are our investors in the startup community hanging out? What do they read? If they're worth their weight, they're going to tell you names like, and you'll have heard these, TechCrunch, Nods, Bloomberg, Business Insider, yeah, we know. But if they're really shit hot tech PRs, they're going to tell you, have a chat with Amy over at Sifted or Oscar at UKTN. Get a profile done with Nadine at Just Entrepreneurs or Charles at Business Age. How many have heard of Business Age? Yeah, okay. It's a freebie. From me to you, Charles Alton-Jones, one of the best tech and startup journalists in the UK media landscape. He still writes for The Times, but Business Age he set up as a platform for you to tell your story to all the investors out there. It was specifically built for you, so go away, check it out. It's very crucial for you. There's another question to ask them as well, and that is about what are my KPIs and my coverage. But finish this sentence off properly for them and say, what can I expect that will support my investor journey? Because this is a very, very different business. Some, if they tell you, we're going to get you 30 pieces of coverage in top tier publications like Wired, Forbes, BBC per month, I would check your contract very, very carefully on what they've done to word that. Because unless you are Apple, or you are putting a six-figure sum from your pocket into those publications, do not do that, please, then something is absolutely wrong in this. The promise of headlines is really tempting, I know, but it's not going to work hard for you. Right? They don't reach the readers that you need to get in front of. So don't ever underestimate the power of trade publications. Go check them out. Look at the verticals you're working in. Go and see them. Business press. Yes, you want to work up to Forbes, but business matters. Business leader. There are absolute like a whole maze of these publications out there for you to go to. So check them out. We've talked about showcasing your expertise as well. This is about building your bench. And this is a really important job that PRs come and do. Because before you're going for investment or during you're going for investment, you need to show and prove that your team are the best in the industry, that they are the people to follow and take this business through. So we call it Build Your Bench. And that is about, we come in as PRs to say, okay, so you've got this person on your team who's really fucking smart about this, and they have something to say to this audience. We've got this person who talks about something different, and they are right with their narrative in their story, and they can go and talk to strategic press. We've got somebody for the tech press. We've got somebody for the healthcare industry. Your team makes one amazing powerhouse whole of experts. So start building their stories and their profiles. And we do this with tactics like, have you all heard of thought leadership? So give me some nods. Okay, thought leadership is very, very powerful for you because it gives you the opportunity to put your opinions across. Your investors reading this are going to go, these guys really know what they're talking about. They know that they have a customer problem. They know what that problem is. They know how to solve it. This is not about you selling yourself. This is opinion on how you are going to change and move an industry forward. That is really compelling for investors. You might have this on your own content, and that's fine, and it's important that you do, but there is nothing quite like getting your thought leadership on a credible, reputational publication, because the journalists at those publications scrutinize. We work with you, we write the stories, we send them in. And by God, do they send them back? Because if you have 1 inch of self-promotional fluffy shit in there, they will send it away again. So if it passes the test and they've scrutinized it and they've said, yeah, you're through, you can get in this publication with me, that says to the investors, wow, these guys really are ones to watch and to listen to. You suddenly become a safe pair of hands for your prospect clients. You become a trusted advisor, not just to the investors and to clients, but to an industry. It's game changing. And then I know that we've covered an awful lot today, so I'm just going to just quickly recap on 5 key things that you take away, because there's a lot of words from me, and you've probably got questions for us and the team. Number 1, nail your story. Okay, so make sure that is your first priority. And make sure it is consistent on your socials, on your blog, on your any coverage that you go out with your PR team. You've got to make sure, even put it on your investor hub. If you don't have an investor hub on your site, I suggest that you get something, because it's your duty to keep investors informed about your updates. Know your niche. That means your audience, your investors, and the media that you need to be going after. Build your team. We've talked about showcasing their expertise. Share the living shit out of your coverage, folks. PRs can go so far. We can get you that brilliant piece of coverage that you need in business matters, in business age. But it just can't stop there. You have to move it along. Use the power of your networks. Get it out there. Shout far and wide. And then CogX might kick me out at this point, because I'm going to go, invest in PR. And there is a reason I'm saying that. And it's not just because I'm here today. If you get PR for your funding round, great. Don't drop it there, whatever you do, because you've started momentum building, you've made a noise, and then if you just drop it, what happens? You get buried by your competitors. So, and then you want to dial it back up again later, what happens then? You got to start all over again, and that is a very expensive and very time-consuming way to do PR. So I would say to really if there's one thing you take away today, it is do not underestimate the power of PR in your investment journey. It is going to work really, really hard for you guys. It will maintain visibility. It builds credibility. It puts you as voices of authority across industries. It gets your profiles out there with and above the competition. It shows the impact that you're making in the world, which actually brings us back to the very start of where we began. You bring limitless possibilities to our world. And PR is one engine, and a very important engine, that will make that happen for you. Not just on your funding rounds, through your launch days, through your international growth days, through even those really bad days when crisis is about to hit. PR will look after you, so keep moving with it as a partnership through life. And if you put PR at the heart of your strategy and invest, what that says to your investors is, I am serious, I am committed, I am ready, and I am the jockey to back. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, Luminous has put together, Amanda on team actually has helped to put together some hints and tips that you can follow in terms of how to keep that attraction going with your investors. So do scan the QR code so that you can go through and have a look. We've got the team on side as well. So are there any questions? Because it might not be that I'm the right person. It might be the team is. Are there any questions that you would like to ask at this point? We have one in there.
Hello. Just regarding the expertise, I was wondering in the difference between PR and personal branding. What is for you like the most powerful one?
I'm going to say PR. When I say about backing the jockey, it is about backing a person, but you're not building a whole business. That's quite risky to have your personal branding and your whole business proposition hanging on one person. It can work in very rare cases, but it's probably the biggest risk that you can take. PR shows your skills and your expertise holistically. It shows the whole engine, not just one person. Because let's be honest, as one person, you might be really shit hot at your tech or developing, but do you really know everything about the business, and can you understand your verticals right? So I think, honestly, personal branding has a place and it can really work, but you're putting a whole lot of eggs in one basket with just one person. When we say the jockey, we say it's a team of jockeys, really, to build them up. Team Luminous, anything else to add? No? No. Does that help answer? Any other questions? I'll get out of the way the QR code. Yes, please.
Hi, thank you very much. I have actually had to run from O2 to listen to you from the Steve Bennett's lecture, so thank you very much.
Oh my God, you actually came and Stephen Bartlett was over there. Thank you.
I have a question. How is it possible to get featured at, for example, Forbes, Financial Times, but for free without paying for...
Without paying for your app. So you're saying, just so I can clarify, you're saying that how do you get into the Financial Times to showcase your app is in there without paying? Okay. Financial Times is not going to write about your app, I'm afraid. It really is not on its own. What we do, so top tier journalists, they won't write about one brand, one app, one proposition that they're doing. Top tier journalists talk about dynamic change and shifts in an industry. So what you have to do is start to put together some thinking around what is my opinion on this? Why am I relevant to talk about this? The first steps, maybe you've got some data that you can support and evidence. Maybe you've got an amazing use case out there that we can kind of put through to journalists. Once you can get in front of them with that, it will help them build out a much wider story. And you will be part of a story with other opinions, with other people as well. Now, will they write about your app? No siree, they're not going to write about your app. Not unless you're Apple, probably, really, and that's about it. But what it does, the kudos that you get from being there will elevate you. But it is really hard, those top tiers. It's just, and I'm being really plain speaking and honest here. It is really unrealistic to go as a startup unless I really am the next big thing, that they will write about me without me paying. But we can arm you with lots of different things that will get you right in front of the journalists and get them interested in talking about bigger things. So instead of just your app, what type of app is it that you might, so financial services, yeah? Financial services. So maybe you've done something around building in your app around consumer duty at the moment. Now, consumer duty is a really hot topic in financial services. And if you've seen that putting the human at the center of the app is actually making massive change for, it's getting better outcomes, which is what consumer duty is all about. If you can make that connection, the journalist is more interested to speak to you. But they're not going to care about your solution. They're going to care about your opinion on that. So I think that's just looking at the news, looking at what's out there and thinking, what have I got to say that's different? What can I back it up with? And how relevant am I to even comment? Because honestly, if you're not relevant, stay away. It's just not worth it. Anything else, Luminous team? Yep, we got something here. Got founder and CEO Kirsty Jarvis is going to add in.
Asked this question a lot about from really early stage startups, like how do I get into the FT, and it's almost becoming a bit of an internal running joke for us, because if you really, and this is the importance of research before starting PR is really important, and what I mean is, like, you've got to look at what these publications are actually writing about, and the FT writes about the biggest companies in the world. So yes, we can get startups in there, but it is really 1 in a million chance. I was actually thinking, we did a really good campaign for a unique, like, lab-grown chocolate brand, which was like completely cacao-free. It was vegan, and again, super small, hadn't even launched. We were just super lucky with that, because there was an ethical journalist that was writing about the production of chocolate. And that was how something happened for that client. But that's what we mean about kind of having that story. The other thing with people like Forbes and all of those big guys, Alexandra mentioned a lot about research. If you can really create some robust research that isn't a sales piece, so it's not about, why this, would you buy this as a platform? It's more about really thinking about getting yourself into the mind of your customers and then thinking about behavioral stuff. So thinking again about consumer duty as an idea, if you could find some statistics out there that says, consumers are really hurting because of this particular thing, you can then naturally link that. So the big publications, if you can give them something that's really robust, really valuable, and has the right kind of tick boxes, then they'll come back to you and use you again, and that makes you valuable. So you've just got to think about lots of different ways about how you create your story in a way that makes you valuable, even though you're a tiny business. So I'm not saying it's absolutely not possible, but I think be realistic and really research your publications before you go to your PR team.
Yeah. And on the FT side, you are probably better as a startup looking at Sifted, which is FT backed. So check them out, because their focus is absolutely startup world as well. Anything else? We're very close to the end. Anything else? Any other questions? You can come and talk to us individually if you prefer. Oh, we have a question at the back. Get ready, Amanda. It might be for you.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can indeed, yes.
Would you say the value that a PR company brings is the relationships with the journalists versus... I've tried to reach out to journalists many times, but you never get anything back. But if it came to you, you actually know them. So
yeah, definitely. It's a really good question. Just so you know, I used to be a journalist, so I have sat on that side of the fence as well as the PR. So we know the pains that they go through. Journalists are, and especially in today's climate, and you really have to understand this around the media. Media has changed in the last couple of years. The teams have shrunk. Publications are dying off. It's really, really sad, and they're needing more support than ever. And their teams are becoming kind of skeleton teams. We've got insurance trades where there's maybe 2 journalists running the whole show, and they might only be in 2-3 days a week. So understanding the cadence of that is really, really important. So the one thing journalists absolutely hate is receiving irrelevant pitches and crap in their inbox, because it's our job to know what they write about, to know what they care about, what's on their agendas. So what we do, and we do it in a bit of an old-fashioned way, you'll have some PRs that will just kind of vomit things out on a newswire, and it sits there and, well, it sticks or it doesn't. Our team are specialists in different technologies, in different verticals, and they will make sure they're maintaining like a really great black book of journalists, because that relationship, if there is a breaking news story, and we call it newsjacking, I don't know if you've heard of this, but there's a breaking news story, and we've got a client that's got something really smart to say on this subject or counters it. We had somebody, when they were talking about the 4-day work week, well, my client, it was a big story that broke, and my client was like, shouldn't be 4 days, it should be 7. Oh, shit, this is going to be fun. So with a great relationship with the HR tech, because that's what we were working with the journalists, we were able to get them into Raconteur really damn quick, actually. And that was because we had a relationship, but also because we knew what they were looking for, when they were looking for it, and saying the right message to them as well. So it's got to be really targeted and tailored. You can try your luck at hitting out at journalists. These guys are time poor and their inboxes are ridiculous. You think your investors are busy? Your journalists are even worse. So it's all about hitting the sweet spot at the right times. Does that help? Oh, Fiona is actually our lead media relations person, so she is absolutely equipped on team to talk. Go.
I'm going to be controversial here. The P in PR is public, so it's not just about media relations. So when you ask about the greatest strength an agency can bring you, is understanding what the most appropriate channel is. So not everything is a news release type story, but what we can do is advise you, okay, this is something that should sit in a newsletter or in stakeholder comms or in a deck. So if you think about publics rather than media, you start to be able to segment your message and get it to the right people in the right way at the right time. I think that's the great skill that a good agency brings to you, is that kind of consultancy advice across all types of comms, not just newspapers, not just the FT. Sometimes the FT isn't right for you, and a good agency will tell you that it's not when it's not.
We've got Kirsty chipping in. We could have a bit of a battle on our hands.
No, I completely agree with
In the white
Fiona.
corner.
The other one thing I did want to say as well, PR is sales. PR is selling stories. So think about actually what your sales team does when it reaches out cold, and then apply some of those tactics when you're talking to journalists. So like all the waffly fluff that you put at the beginning, I think we were told once that you have about 3 or 4 seconds to gauge a journalist's attention before they delete you, because they receive hundreds and hundreds of pitches every day. So if you've got a great salesperson on your team and you're thinking, right, I want to go and try and reach a journalist, go and see what they do and then apply that, because that's effectively what we do. We sell stories, and yes, relationships are important, of course they are. But the reality is, it's like, how do you quickly grab that attention?
Okay. I think we've probably come to the close. As I say, we'll be here for a little bit longer. If you need anything at all, just come and chat to us one-to-one. But thank you very much indeed for joining me. Good luck on your journeys, everybody. Thank you.